Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome to the Rowdy Rooster Rundown late here on this Sunday night. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, whether you're tuned in to the live show on YouTube or you're listening via podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or Google Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, appreciate each and every single one of you, man, for your love, for your support. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. And I hope this show does find you well, no matter where you are, what you are doing here on this Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on when you are listening to us. Again, guys, very excited to chat yet again. In case you are not familiar, the Rowdy Rooster Rundown will go live each and every single Sunday night as we basically record the Monday morning podcast, but I figure why not bring the live show aspect of it into it? So it'll be very random times throughout the weeks that we go live. I'll be sure to let you all know on social media, but of course, we've been out and about traveling this weekend. So later on this Sunday, as we sit here, 10:31 p.m. Eastern, made the most sense. For those of you who are tuned in to the live show, the live show side of things, be sure to leave your questions throughout the show, and we will get to those at the end of the show. You can also text 843-790-3377. We've already got a couple of texts to read off, as I'm sure you can imagine. There's a lot of reactions to what happened over the weekend as South Carolina drops 2 of 3 games to the Tennessee Volunteers. But guys, make sure you blow up the voicemail line, or blow up the text line, I should say. We'll take all those voicemails on the Daily Crow tomorrow. But in the meantime, like I said, we'll take the text, our listener questions at the end of the show. One quick thing, guys, one quick housekeeping item I did want to address before we get going. The SEC tournament begins this week. Tuesday, South Carolina will take on the Georgia Bulldogs in game 1 of the SEC tournament for them and overall as well. Join the Big Cock Club this week, guys. Patreon.com/Big Cock Club. We will be streaming practically all of the SEC tournament games live in our live stream watch along in the Big Cock Club Discord, in the Hangout, if you will. We're actually able to watch the games, to conversate, to chat amongst each other. Guys, we'll have all of the South Carolina games, which hopefully there are a couple this week, but we're really going to try to stream a lot of the SEC baseball this week. So if you don't have SEC Network, if you don't have a cable package, what have you, hey, you can pay that $9.99. Join the Discord today, and you can watch all of the baseball with yours truly. So again, going to be a lot of fun. We'll start on Tuesday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern first pitch, as we will all watch that game together in the Big Cock Club Discord. So again, guys, really excited for that, and an exciting week upcoming with the podcast, the Daily Crow, all that good stuff, guys. Also want to stop and say thank you all so much for the love and the support in regards to, of course, we made changes, we made adjustments last week. The way that we are recording, the way that we are publishing the content, the way that we are distributing the podcast, if you will. And the numbers reflected a massive success. It's only been a week, but the spike we've seen in downloads and viewership and interaction, and the response also to the new structure of the Daily Crow has been something that's been really amazing. So again, guys, thank you all so much. Again, truly without your love and support, TSUS would not be what it is, what it's becoming. And as I always say, the joy is in the journey. And that is truly the case here lately with the changes and adjustments we've made to the Daily Crow, to the podcast, and everything in between. Guys, that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. South Carolina drops 2 of 3 games in the final regular season series of the 2023 regular season of the 18th ranked Tennessee Volunteers, falling in game 1 by a score of 5-0, winning game 2 6-1, and then of course losing game 3 12-1, which was game 2 of the doubleheader on Saturday. And you know what's crazy? This really felt like a copy paste from the Arkansas series to what we saw over the weekend, right? Felt very similar. Gamecocks fall down, lose game 1. Jack Mahoney's heroics give you an opportunity. before you somewhat fall flat on your face, right? Game 3 against Arkansas, at least you were competitive and you gave yourself a chance. South Carolina falling emphatically in the final game of this series. Really, it felt like never had a chance in that ball game, or at least not for very long, as the Volunteers struck for 4 runs in the 4th inning. And of course, both games on Saturday, games 2 and 3, were 7-inning contests. So as soon as South Carolina fell down 4-0 in the 4th, you felt like it was probably going to be a long shot for an offense that was already struggling anyways. But very similar weekends. And guys, I'll say this. I feel about as you'd expect for someone who is a fan of a team who started 34-6 in this 2023 season and ended up finishing 4-11 and losing 4 straight series losses to close it out. I feel like a fan of a team who went from a no-brainer top 8 national seed to now probably, without a lengthy stay in the SEC tournament, a place where, South Carolina has never succeeded, Hoover, Alabama, without winning a few games there, the Gamecocks have probably played themselves out of not just a top 8 national seed, but even hosting a regional. And it hurts. It really does. It really does, guys. I wish I could tell you that I had something that is going to blow your mind right here. I can't say that I do. It's hard to find the words, and I understand there's more baseball to be played. There's the tournament this week. There's the postseason where teams can, I guess this team could just flip a switch, could cut it on and make an unprecedented run. But we have to react to what we have seen to this point. And right now, guys, as the dust has settled on the regular season and we now turn our sights to postseason play, I think it goes without saying, and I mentioned this over the weekend, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. They say in college football, they remember November. And the reason they say that, guys, is because, again, people remember how you finish, not so much how you start. And so for all of the good that the Yardcocks did this season, taking 2 of 3 from the arch rival, sweeping through non-conference play, kicking off SEC play with a couple of sweeps, sweeping the Florida Gators, for all, that game 1 against LSU where it looked like for a moment there, South Carolina, it was no doubt was the best team in college baseball. For all of that good and that 34-6 start, it is now but a distant memory. Finishing 4-11. And one of the craziest stats, guys, that I saw over the weekend, 4 straight series losses, right, to close out this season. The Gamecocks actually finished 38-17 overall, 16-13 in SEC play. But get this, the Gamecocks finished with a losing SEC series record. 4-5-1 in SEC series. And I saw that and I was like, I could not believe that statistic. And it makes me stop and it makes me think, you know what? Like, maybe we overvalued this team early. Maybe we got out ahead of ourselves because South Carolina was sweeping a couple of bad ball clubs. And the Florida weekend was magical. Don't get me wrong. The Florida weekend was incredible. But was it a one-off? Was it an anomaly. I feel for a bit South Carolina was one of the best teams in college baseball, if not the best team in college baseball. But this season, this regular season at least, because the story is not done being written. But as it stands right now, this season, for all the good that happened in the first 40 games, will forever be remembered as one of the most epic collapses in not just Gamecocks baseball history, but Gamecocks athletics history. And this past weekend was just more of the same, guys. It was just more of the same. I mean, you have a Tennessee team that had won 2 road games all year, and they come in and win 2 road games on your field, Founders Park. Completely lost at the plate. You have the one big inning in game 2 where you're able to break out and show some life at least, which I'll give kudos for this team fighting, showing some resiliency. And I feel for this ball club and I feel for these guys in that locker room because obviously, guys, they're not trying to lose. This isn't fun for them either. And I know where the finger's pointed. And I promise you all, I've been telling you for quite a while now, I'm not going to call for any jobs until the season is officially complete. The last inning has been played. The last pitch has been thrown. The last out has been recorded. I'm not calling for any jobs or, going out there vocally and saying anything. I'm going to let the dust settle on this season because what I said before the season, guys, of it's super regionals or bust for Mark Kingston, I meant that. And so you know what? Like it, hate it, whatever. The super regionals are still a possibility. And what's so weird about this finish, because, it's, you want to talk about the Tennessee weekend, but really, guys, this feels like we're more so as the regular season has now concluded. It almost feels like it's more of a reflection on the entire season because I think this past weekend really was a microcosm of what the second half of the last third of the season, I should say. It's a microcosm of what it was. Inconsistency, swinging a stick, your pitching surprisingly letting you down at times. This team just not playing with the same confidence, the same swagger, the same moxie. Like we saw all of that early on. And somewhere, somehow, it got lost. You can blame injuries, guys, all you want, by the way. You can blame injuries all you want. And hey, losing a series or even 2 because you've got injuries and you're depleted, man, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But there's no excuse for the way that you closed out this season. I mean, there's none. There's no excuse, and I know we all agree. It's hard to even find the words to describe what we've witnessed over the last couple of weeks. And I went full after game 1, guys, I'll tell you, and I know you guys probably saw it on social media, and I wanted to be wrong. I went full, I have been as positive, and I know this, a week ago or so after the Charlotte loss, I was as on edge as I've been at any point in this baseball season. But even going into the Tennessee weekend, even going into that weekend, I picked 2 of 3 South Carolina. I felt like this team is at some point, they're going to bounce back. This team at some point is going to get off the schneid. And after game 1 of the Tennessee series, getting shut out, getting 3 hit, what have you, I'm done, man. I'm done. I'm done being, nobody wants to be Debbie Downer, but I'm done being Sally Sunshine Pumper, man. I'm just done. And I think most of Gamecock Nation is done as well. And I can't even blame you. And if this team wants to win Gamecock Nation back in the sense of not that people are going to tune out, not that people aren't going to watch, because we all still care. But in regards to going into this postseason with any sense of belief, that this team can even be 50% of what it was earlier in the year, you got to win that back, man. You got to earn that back. You're no longer getting the benefit of the doubt, at least from me. I'm done giving this ball club, coached by Mark Kingston and Monty Lee, the benefit of the doubt. And it makes it even more sickening to watch what is currently taking place in the upstate with Eric Bakich and his ball club. It makes it even more sickening to know that the Gamecocks, they could have made a similar move. Could have made a similar move a year ago. And instead of doing that, decided, you know what, let's actually bring this guy back and we'll see what we can do. Let's bring the coach over that, and I was a fan of it when it happened. Monty Lee, he was a Gamecock. Let's bring him over. But the guy who just got fired by the arch rival, who they didn't want, and it's working out about as you would expect. And I said it before, I'll say it again, guys. This team is so lost mentally, that's their greatest challenge. Because it's the same players from earlier in the season that led this ball club to the 34-6 start. Same guys. For the most part, it's the same guys. But I don't know if any of us have ever seen a team look so different from the first 2/3 of a season to the final third. I mean, it's unlike anything we have ever seen. And as I mentioned, unfortunately, for all the good that's gone on early on, this season right now will forever be remembered as one of the most epic collapses in Gamecocks athletic history. And barring some, run in the SEC tournament and then run in the postseason, I don't see how heads will not roll. I don't see how heads will not roll for that. I just can't fathom it. And if they don't, good luck getting people back to Founders Park next year. Good luck convincing people to give a damn next season. As much as people love Gamecocks baseball, we've seen it before. We've seen apathy set in before. Gamecock baseball is not immune to it. No program is. And I continue to shake my head and just sit here in disbelief, because it is so hard for me to believe that South Carolina has, and they have nobody to blame but themselves. Let's make that very clear, right? That's what's so sickening as well. They have nobody to blame but themselves. The world was their oyster at 34-6. Full control of, are we a top 8 national seed? God forbid, are we a regional host? Imagine me telling you when Carolina was 34-6, this team won't even host a regional. You would have laughed in my face. I would have got laughed off the internet. And sure enough, that's exactly where we sit. And you can talk about RPI, and Mark Kingston can do his little song and dance and talk about how the Gamecocks are deserving. But, man, you're going to have a real tough time convincing anyone that this team is deserving. And it was more of the same this past weekend. Outside of one offensive explosion. Guys, let's think about this. You take that one 5-run inning away. All right? So 5 innings played. You take that one 5-run inning away in the 6th inning, the bottom of the 6th, in game 2. South Carolina in 5, 14, 21. In 21 innings of baseball, outside of the one 5-run inning they had, scored a grand total of 1 run. 1. One single run. Let's take it a step further. Because South Carolina, they had 7 hits in that game too against Tennessee. I believe 6 of the 7 came in 1 inning. That bottom of the 6th. 5 straight hits off Chase Burns. And they had a hit on Chase Dolander that knocked him out. So take away that 6th inning again in game 2. In 21 innings of baseball, Carolina had 9 hits. 9 hits in 21 innings. 9 hits, 1 run. In 21 innings. I mean, I could beat you over the head with these numbers, man, but it's just disgusting. It's pitiful. It's ridiculous. I mean, this isn't Gamecocks baseball, man. It's just not Carolina baseball. 40-win seasons in Columbia used to be as common as hot dogs and apple pie at a ball game, man. And now the standard, it feels, has been lost. All right, guys, let's move into our Oot Oot Series MVP award on the right side. For the 2nd straight week, he earns this award. Like I mentioned, guys, these past 2 weekends almost felt copy-paste. As the winner of the Oot Oot Series MVP award goes to Jack Mahoney. Once again, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Also, guys, I'll say loved his comments in the postgame on Saturday. Hey, he's a leader. He's a fighter. He's fighting for his guys, fighting for his ball club, and I respect it. And I hope that everything Jack Mahoney said on Saturday, and in case you missed it, he said, hey, this is the same group of guys. We're going to get hot at the right time. We're going to play our best baseball. I hope he's right, and we all do. But a fantastic outing yet again, with his back against the wall, puts the team on his back yet again against a dangerous Tennessee lineup, giving up just the 1 earned run and keeping the Yardcocks in the ball game until the offense really got going. Guys, let's talk slapdick of the weekend. And I'm going to go with myself. Slapdick of the weekend. Here's why. I came into this season with very, very realistic expectations. Like, very realistic. You might recall my final record prediction was 34-22 and 15-15 in conference play. The Gamecocks finished their season 38-17, 16-13 in conference play. So you would think to yourself that, okay, the Gamecocks actually exceeded expectations. Won more games than predicted. So maybe have a better shot to achieve something in the postseason. But overall, record-wise, finished off better than expected. And if I had kept myself even keel throughout the season, I may feel that way today. But unfortunately, I allowed myself to believe. I allowed myself to believe. And I even went as far as going on record to say, Mark Kingston has changed. Man, he's just revolutionized himself as a head coach. I really, genuinely believe that. Only to be let down yet again. And so for believing when I knew better, I'm a slapdick for that. I'm a slapdick for that, and I'll hold the L. And I touted this team as the best team in college baseball and danced on the grave of LSU and danced on the grave of Florida and was talking that talk and talking that smack and forgot to take into consideration who's running this organization. And so for that, I'm a slapdick. I'm a slapdick for getting out ahead of my skis. I'm a slapdick for giving this team too much credit. I'm a slapdick for getting my hopes up. and believing that this season was really on pace to be something special. And maybe it still can be. Maybe it still can be. But as I said earlier, nobody likes Debbie Downer, but I'm also done being Sally Sunshine Pumper, man. And y'all know I call it as I see it. So I will not walk around with the egg on my face. I will not be a slapdick again. Show me. Prove it to me. No more benefit of the doubt. You have lost me. Guys, let's get into who's hot, who's not, who's hot. How about Nick Proctor? How about Nick Proctor, guys? Get this. Since April the 4th, and this was tweeted out by Colin Taylor at Gamecock Central, since April the 4th, 13 and a third innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 18 strikeouts, a 1.35 ERA, and a .675 whip. He's also allowing a 174 batting average against. He's inherited 10 runners, and only one of them has scored. So I feel like Nick Proctor, the Cal transfer, has really gone under the radar, has been really, really good for South Carolina. So shout out Nick Proctor, a reliable arm of the bullpen, and I'm sure they will be using him a ton in postseason play. Who's not? And I know he got this last weekend, guys, but my goodness, Dylan Brewer, you can hold it yet again. 0 for 10 with 5 strikeouts on the weekend. So Dylan Brewer, a guy at the top of the lineup. You need to get going and need to get going in a hurry. What's next for the Yardcocks, guys? Of course, the SEC tournament begins this weekend, and South Carolina is officially the 6th seed in the tournament. They will take on the 11 seed Georgia Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Some morning baseball for us all as the Gamecocks and Bulldogs get the SEC tournament kicked off in game 1 of the tournament. So again, exciting stuff, guys. Like I said, if you want to watch it along with us, of course, the game will be televised on SEC Network. We will have a full game preview and a breakdown on everything you need to know on the Daily Crow tomorrow. But of course, that being Monday. But if you do want to watch it along with us, we will be in the Big Cock Club Discord in the Hangout, watching the game, conversating, a really good time. Join the Big Cock Club at patreon.com/BigCock Club. You join that, $9.99 a month, and you will get access to the Discord and much more, by the way. 20% off on merchandise, bonus content, etc., etc. It's a really, really good stuff, guys. And again, like I said, if you don't have cable, if you don't have a way to watch the game and you want to tune in, watch it with yours truly, it's the best way to do it. Patreon.com/BigCock Club. Going to be a good time. Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern against Georgia. Guys, that being said, hey, let's go ahead. We're going to dive into the comments, dive into the questions. Let's first get into our text. And then I see we've got 146 comments on YouTube. So there is a lot to get into from you guys, and I cannot wait to do so. Panic Ritter texts in and says, Mark Kingston has destroyed a program that I used to love. Kingston, stop with your excuses. We are trying to get all 3 phases in the game to come together. How about add a 4th, add a brain? I don't know. Thanks, Kingston. You destroyed the program. You used to love. Tanner, you can also join him. That's Panic Ritter. We got a text here from, not exactly sure who this is from, but Chris, enjoy your content every day. First things first. Thank you, sir. Looks like Tennessee and Kentucky have passed us in recruiting talent. We will die by the portal. Really have no stud pitchers anymore. Time to move on from Kingston. He cannot get us to Omaha. Ray destroyed our tradition. I love Carolina baseball. It is really sad. Another text says, never seen a worse finish to a season in quite a while. And our final text, guys, I posted this actually on social media. This guy says, ha, 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 ha. They suck as bad as you. Choke on a dick. So, took the losses really well, I see. Let's get into the YouTube chat. We got 150 comments here in the chat. We've got one that just rolled in, says F. Kingston. Let's run through these comments, these questions really quick. Brennan says, fire Mark Kingston. Kelly says, would Tanner ever consider coaching again? I will say no. Madison Duncan, what a weekend. I'm still optimistic about our ball team. However, I understand the meaning behind being healthy sure makes a difference. Let's keep it going. Bain, hope the Gamecocks pull it together. Would love a Tiger Cox Super Regional Premier South Carolina Talent Showcase. Joseph says, our fans having a massive failure this baseball season. It's always wild to me when Gamecock fans demonize the Gamecock fan base. For what? For being there? For caring? Come on, man. Give me a break. Give me a break. People have been nothing but supportive and showing love to this ball club. The fans had nothing to do, my friend, with a team finishing up 4-11 in the final 15 and dropping the final 4 series of the season. All fans do, Joseph, is react to what they're seeing on the field. And that's all I do as well. So, I mean, listen, people complaining about the content and the commentary when Carolina's losing, no shit, man. No shit. It's going to be a lot less fun and a lot more critical and not as much fun to talk about when Carolina's not winning games. It is what it is, but it's just the reality. Fans, though, fans who show up and show out and show love and support, watch every game, live it, breathe it, die it, I don't think they're to blame or have been, quote-unquote, massive failures this baseball season. Bain says, who cares about the regular season? Look at Ole Miss last year. Carolina has the talent to finish strong. Something has to give. If it's Kingston, fire his ass and let the team coach itself. Bain, here's the only difference, because I agree with you. I've been using that example for quite a while. Here's the difference, Bain. That Ole Miss team finished the regular season hot last year. I think they won like 8 of their last 10. So, listen, and here's the thing, Bain. If you're going to get hot, that's cool. That's fine. You're running out of time to get hot. You're running out of time to get hot, my friend. You're running out of time to get hot. Let's keep it rolling with the questions. I'm not even going to entertain anymore of the fans are to blame BS. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Bain says, Monty Lee curse, start strong, finish ass. It happened to Clemson last year. Kelly says, Chris, the time you mentioned way back, they were the best team in college baseball is exactly when they started their fall. You know, Kelly, I would take the blame, but I was one of like everyone that said Carolina was arguably or was the best team in college baseball. So as much as I'd love to totally just pin the blame on myself, Kelly, I can't do it because, again, I was far from the only one. Let's see. Blaming the crowds. I just, oh my God. I just can't do it. John Evers says, like, change needs to be made at head coach. Frauds. I mean, God, yeah. I mean, listen, I get it. I get it, man. This is not fun to process. This is not fun to yeah, this is not fun to deal with, but here we are. Here we are. Let's see. Let's get into the Big Cock Club Discord, by the way, as we close out this show here on this Sunday night, aka Monday, if you're tuned into the podcast version. Let's see. My guy Ryan says you need to start hashtag Firemark Kingston. 100% it was an anomaly. LSU pitched their worst guys after the rain delay. Brennan M. at me and said, the season is over, bro. Ryan says the season is over if only it could end Tuesday around noon. Rebecca said, let's talk about football. Brennan M. saying, thank you, Chris, the voice of reason. You're welcome. You're welcome. And guys, I'll say this. I'll say this in closing. Everyone's frustrated. Everyone's upset. And I'll say this. I don't mean to single out Joseph in the chat, because Joseph, I'm sure you were not coming from a place of, you are trying to demonize the Gamecock fan base. So, but I will say this. I wouldn't come down too harshly on anyone because, guys, we're all upset. I mean, we're all frustrated. However you're choosing to voice that frustration, to vent that frustration, right? Hey, some people go at it in the YouTube comments. Some people go at it in the Discord. Some people call their buddy. Some people go write things on Twitter. Some people throw hate at me on social media, which is totally fine. but I have empathy for us all because we are all going through this as Gamecock fans. We are all witnessing this. And everyone who wears the garnet and black and everyone who loves this program has every right to be upset, every right to be disgruntled, and every right to feel that way until things change on the field. Because the only thing that will fix anything at this point is winning ball games, is getting back to playing good baseball and winning ball games. Can South Carolina begin to do that again this week? We shall see. Guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much to those who tuned in on YouTube, to the live show side of things. I truly appreciate it. Again, those tuned in right now via podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. Thank you all so much to continue love and support and you guys tuning into the podcast each and every single day. As I mentioned, we have got a packed week of content with the podcast, the Daily Crow, all that good stuff. Of course, they are all one and the same. Now, I got to get out of the habit of saying podcast, Daily Crow. It's all one and the same. And thank you all so much for the love and support of the Rowdy Rooster Rundown side of things. I know this is a new thing, and we're still kind of getting acclimated to it, adjusted to it. But and while games are going on, we will not do this during the summer because there won't be really much to break down or talk about or recap or dissect from the weekend. But while games are in play, we will be doing this, and I really appreciate you all giving some extra flair with the live show aspect side of things and leaving questions and engaging. It's always really cool to see, and I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Sunday night, and we will talk to you all tomorrow.